Tennessee safety Jakobe Thomas entered the transfer portal on Thursday. Jakobe Thomas had transferred to Tennessee from MTSU a year ago and was a significant part of the system last year. Tennessee's safeties include guys like Andre Turrentine, Jordan Thomas getting back healthy, but Jakobe Thomas did figure to be a part of this. So, Will, I'm just going to ask you first, what's behind Jakobe Thomas entering the transfer portal in your eyes?
I don't know the specific Jakobe Thomas situation. I will tell you there are other guys at Tennessee, because Tennessee has 21 guys in the transfer portal. We don't have all the names. There are other guys at Tennessee are just being told by agents we can get you somewhere else, right? There are other guys like Larry Johnson. Larry Johnson just wants to play football. He knows what's up, right? Like, he'd probably not go to the pros, but if he wants to play football, the belief was Larry Johnson was the right tackle. When you had to pay David Sanders double what you thought you were going to pay David Sanders because of the Ohio State flip threaten, then you have to start David Sanders day one. Which means Larry Johnson wants to play football. He's going to have to go somewhere else to play football. That or just be a rotational tackle. I think with Jakobe Thomas, it could go either way. Jakobe Thomas could be I'm looking for money, because for whatever reason, Tennessee doesn't usually lock their guys up until they threaten to go to the transfer portal. So, I mean, look at that. That's the thing that, again, this was the thing that everybody got mad at me for saying about Nico of, well, Mike Matthews threatened to go to the portal, and Boo Carter threatened to go to the portal, and Cooper Mays threatened to go to the NFL, and Dylan Sampson threatened to go to the portal. Like, at some point in time when they threaten to go to the portal, that's not a them problem if it's everybody, right? It's either a you problem or it's an everybody problem. I think it's a you problem. I think Tennessee is over their budget in NIL, and I think if you want Tennessee to pay you more money, you're probably going to have to threaten to go to the portal or enter the portal and then come back out if Tennessee gives you a deal. But with Jakobe Thomas, it also might be that he just wants to play football, and he's not going to get there from here. But there are some dudes, like there's one player, and I don't want to put his business, I don't want to name the player's name because he's a young man, that straight up his agent just told him, you need to enter the portal. We're going to get you a lot more money, and the offers aren't there. And so that is problematic. So I don't know which one this is with Jakobe Thomas. Is this because he's looking for more money from Tennessee because everybody enters the portal or threatens to enter the portal? Ricky Gibson, right? Ricky Gibson was promised he was going to get a raise. Tennessee said, we'll take care of you after spring practice. Another school comes in and says, we will give you boatloads of money. Ricky Gibson's like, I don't want to leave, but I'm going to enter the portal if you don't pay me. So that report comes out. Ricky Gibson gets paid. Ricky Gibson's still here. So it could be either way, that it's money or that he just wants to be a starter, and he's probably not going to do that at Tennessee right now.
All right. Bank on it. Brought to you by Commercial Bank. Member FDIC. Life made better. Bank on it. Jakobe Thomas, I'm going to call it, entered the portal over money, and will be back on the Tennessee roster within 2 weeks. Real quick message from Commercial Bank.
Commercial Bank is your neighborhood bank. What makes us different from other banks? We understand that every customer has unique opportunities, challenges, and financial concerns. We don't expect you to fit into the same box as the next person or business. Whether it's purchasing a home, saving for your child's future, or planning for your next vacation, we're with you every step of the way to navigate life's big decisions. Commercial Bank.
All right, well, where do you stand?
Can I bring up one point on the Jakobe Thomas thing? Here's the tough part, right? In this era of NIL, you're just not afforded depth. So unless you want to overpay for depth. So and especially everybody else is dealing with that too. Georgia last year, a lot of their struggles was because Georgia had an injured center and an injured guard, and they didn't have the depth that they used to have because all of their backups transferred. So the idea of a guy who can start at Purdue or somewhere like that and can go make, I mean, like, did you see the law? There's a lawsuit right now going on in the state of New Jersey where a Rutgers player is looking to play had to end eligibility rules, and Greg Schiano testified on his behalf. And he said the reason why he should get to play is you're limiting him. He's making $550,000 as a safety at Rutgers. You know what I mean? Like, so if you're Jakobe Thomas, you want to play at Tennessee for $150,000, or do you want to go start at a lower level Big 10 school or Big 12 school for $450,000 to $550,000? So that's the question it's tough to ask a kid to do that. Just suck it up for your team. Man, none of us would do that. If you're telling me I can make 3 times the money before I have a family and I'm a single dude, I will be gone. That's just capitalism at the end of the day. But it could be about money, but it also could be about playing time. And the unfortunate part is playing time equals money. So I think it probably is more about if you're a starting safety at Arizona, you're going to make $450,000. You're a backup safety at Tennessee or a rotational guy, especially with Tennessee's current NIL situation, you might make 150 to 250. It's just so much more money. And so, and if he's probably being told by whoever his agent is or handlers, you can still make it to the NFL. I mean, long shot on that one, I would say puncher's chance. But I do think playing time equals money usually. And the unfortunate part is no one gets afforded depth anymore in big time college football.
For the most part, I agree with you. The reason I would push back and say Jakobe Thomas will be back is I don't think so. Let's remember when Ricky Gibson entered the portal. He entered the portal after Jamal McCoy tore his ACL. And so he knew that they were going to need him to, I don't care what anybody says, Jamal McCoy is not going to be 100% at the start of the season. And so they're going to probably have Ricky Gibson guarding team's number one receivers through at least the Georgia game and probably through the end of September. And by the way, Syracuse isn't exactly the easiest offense to go up against in their opener. So I think that's one of the reasons he held out. I think Tennessee now, they lost a safety last week. They've already lost Christian Harrison. They lost another safety last week to the portal. So they're thinner at safety. Jordan Thomas had all the hype going into last year, but he's coming off of injury. So I think they're a little concerned. I think Jakobe Thomas knows that he's not a rotational player. I think Tennessee really actually needs him. And so This seems like a leverage move.
It could be. And I will tell you, Ricky Gibson wasn't going to enter. He was going to wait, and he was waiting because he got told, you're going to get a bump after spring practice. And then we got right before spring practice, or we'll take care of you later. And he had not been taken care of yet. And I do believe Tennessee wanted to wait till after spring practice to this transfer portal window, let some guys leave, free some money up because you had to overpay for Mike Matthews and Boo Carter and David Sanders. You overpaid for them. So you're paying Mike Matthews like he's one of like that Ohio State kid. You know what I mean? That's insane. But either that or let him go. Those are your two choices, right? Because somebody else was going to overpay him. So I think that with Thomas, it could be about money, but if it's about money, that's probably not a great situation because probably means Tennessee's struggling with it right now. And I also think he wants to start because if you start, you get money, and that is the other side of it. But he could be a starter. I agree with you on that one, and I think you probably convinced me on that one, Caleb. Is that guy could be a starter somewhere, right? He can be a starter somewhere, playing big time football, making $500,000 a year, and so somebody will give him that money, and he's going to look at the end of the day. But I was told expect safeties to enter the transfer portal because of Jordan Thomas, that they feel really good about him. So they expected him. I don't know if they expected both Slaughter and Thomas to enter the portal at this, though. I don't know that Tennessee expected that.